So when it comes to empathy, innovation, and then of course the tech in hospitality, it's very, very close to my heart. And as you rightly said that I've been teaching service excellence innovation for the last 3 years almost now. In fact, when I look at TED, originally it's technology, entertainment, and design. But now if I look at TED, it somehow gives me an idea that if I'm to redo the acronym, I'll do it as technology, I'll keep it. E becomes empathy, and D becomes one of the famous and favorite of many, a framework which is used in innovation, which is nothing other than design thinking. So just imagine technology, empathy, and design thinking. Now, what's happening? Because all of us, we know that tech budgets in all possible hospitality organizations are huge. Now, if we look at a brand, a global brand, which has got close to 9,500 properties globally, and they have about, let's say, $1.2 billion of an annual budget in CapEx, maximum amount is spent in nothing but tech. Now, where exactly in tech? If we talk about cybersecurity, the answer is yes. If it talks about hyper-personalization, now just imagine, at one point of time we used to talk about personalized hospitality, now we are talking about hyper-personalization. So a good amount is spent there. Also, there are cloud-based services, which is cloud-based innovations, which is happening in that brand. So some money is also spent there. Just imagine a budget. Today we are talking about Q2 of this year, 2025. So the earmarked fund is about 1.2 billion. But again, there's a brilliant thing to do. If you spend money in innovation, if you spend money in tech, so it can be also brought back by the franchise fees. So that's how typically the hospitality organizations operate. As we speak, for last 3 days, okay, again, teaching service excellence also teaches you that whatever service you offer, that has to have a recency, it has to be fresh. What you service, this produce will have to be fresh. Now, for last 3 days, something is happening very saliently in a forum called the Skift Global Forum. So people who follow hospitality news, so the platform Skift, they give you brilliant insights through some brilliant speakers. Number one, I'll talk about 3 of my favorites today, because otherwise it will take a 2 credit, 30-hour course to teach this topic. So here I'll refrain from teaching, I'll just share, and share. Number 1, my favorite is none other than Brancheski of Airbnb. Now, what's happening in Airbnb? So I was just listening to him. I mean, day before yesterday, he was on Skift Global Forum. He was talking about, we've already done homes. So Airbnb homes are very much there. We've done experiences, Airbnb experiences. Now they're getting into Airbnb services as well. What are these? Airbnb services. Now just imagine a family has just checked in a villa in Goa. So I'll give you a lot of Indian context for sure. Now they want someone who can do the cooking. So just imagine it's a combination of Airbnb plus urban company plus chef cart. So you get a chef on demand, a masseur on demand, you get someone who can show you around, a guide on demand. So they are also embedding this as a service. Just imagine, from homes to experiences to services. So that's how he is talking about layering our services, right? Now, why he's layering his services? Because they need to have a new growth algorithm. Because if you look at Airbnb revenues, the percentage growth for last 4 years. So if we talk about last 2 years, it will be suddenly from a degrowth from 12% growth to 9% this year. So what he's aspiring for is a 20% growth algorithm. So to do that, he has to layer a lot. So a new product range, which is nothing but services. Now, For another reason, Bran is very, very favorite of mine because he is a very classy storyteller. I'd love to share one story which I have shared with a couple of my students here. So his team, they receive a lot of customer complaints, right? Because if there's a service, there'll be complaints, there'll be feedbacks, right? So suddenly they receive a request for a complete refund on a villa rental. So the team is perplexed because the cause of initiating that refund is there's a ghost in the villa. So naturally, they'll have to adjudicate that now. To adjudicate, they need to speak to the owner. So the best thing or the finest thing the owner can do is to just deny that there's no ghost. They call up the owner and she says, of course, it's there in the listing. The ghost is there. And his name is Stanley. So the team goes back to the guest, said, ma'am, yes, we agreed that there's a ghost and his name is Stanley. Said, oh, where? In fact, that was one of the major reasons we booked our stay there. But you know, this guy, Stanley, he harassed us throughout the night, so we want a complete refund. Now, the moment this happens, so someone has booked through tech. Ultimately, we are getting into the services and the experiences, right? I'll come to the slide. Naturally, I mean, it attracts a lot of eyeballs. Let it go, but I'll spend some more time on two more favorite leaders from the hospitality industry. They are beautifully mixing technology, empathy, and design thinking. Number two is Arun Gorin. Arun Gorin is the CEO who has just taken over for about a year back in Expedia. So Arun says a beautiful thing. She says, okay, now we are doing tech. People are trusting us on an experiential travel. So it has to be predictable. It has to be proactive. It has to be personalized. So already she has a 3P kind of a framework. Now, to back it up, if we go through what the Booking.com CEO, Glenn Fogel, had said, he said, ultimately, it's not that easy. Just imagine a family of 4 with 2 children. They are going to a destination and they want to plan their trip for a week. There are multiple instances embedded into it. Now, to do that, so only tech is fine, but at some point of time, they need a point of contact. So booking is fine. So how many of us would be very comfortable to walk into a villa which is unmanned totally, right? Another example, if you look at this photograph, that's my wife, Tuhana. She is a partner in all my experiences in terms of service excellence or service not so excellence. This is 2018, if I remember. I checked into a haunted villa in Goa called the Figueredo Mansion. Middle of the night, 2:30, and we kept on ringing the bell, and the doorbell was never answered. So after 2-3 minutes, I went and knocked at one of the windows. So a lady just said, "You're the guest. All right, I'll give you the keys. You can open from outside." Why do I claim it as haunted? I'm talking about experience, right? So it was a suite. So one room for Tuhan and myself, one room for my daughter. Now, in my daughter's room, the ceiling fan, the moment my daughter entered that room, it started swaying like a pendulum, right? And we don't have a ready solution to that. And at 3 o'clock at night, we can't wake up anyone else, the other residents. Okay, the other residents, the lady who hosted us, she was 85 and she was on the borderline attack of her dementia, right? She used to forget what this is all about. She used to say, "What is the sweet substance? You can add it to my coffee. That makes my coffee sweet." She's forgotten this is a sugar cube, right? So naturally, we didn't wake anyone up. So I played the Ghostbuster. Small experiment, I just touched the fan and said, "Oh, what the hell, stop." Fortunately, it stopped. So just imagine that experience. Also, a father come Ghostbuster, I mean, that comes as a package. Now, if we talk about technology, the moment we book, 3 things happen to us. One is we have a search box, we have results, right, the search results, and a Filtering tool. This tree we have. Now, vastly, this is changing with the invents of Gen AI. And also, some people are talking about using agentic AI into this hyper-personalization. So the system can observe your behavior if you have traveled into a particular destination or a particular set of hotels for last couple of years or couple of months. So that pattern is predicted, and that predictability analysis is taken into consideration when the hotel or the homestay gives you a service. Now, that is happening now. Now, how can we get into the next bit of it when it comes to the empathy and the service? Now, I'll talk about 4 to 5 stories, and absolutely I have not a single line of text in the teleprompter for me because I wanted to share these people are making differences. Now, this photograph is from a neighborhood hotel, which is Grand Hyatt Gurgaon, and this gentleman who's a very, very bright bartender, his name is Mandy. He has a long name, but his name tag also says Mandy. So what Mandy does for his guests is, let's say there are about 300 guests in one event, 200 people they're asking for cocktails, 25 people asking for wines, 50 more people they are getting into maybe a glass of beer. So suddenly there are 3 counters, there are 3 bartenders. Most of the people, they are moving towards Mandy. Reason 1, look at the warm smile. It was a random capture, a candid shot. And what he does is, instead of serving it from the bar, across the bar, he says, ma'am, can I just come out to serve your wine, please? So he would come out personally and serve a guest. And he does it every time. So later, about a month later, I again met him. He is of that same energy, the same smile, and the same set of service which he is doing there. Now, the other day I came to know over one of the Grand Hyatt posts from the property, it said that he's been selected as one of the topmost brand ambassadors in one of the tequila manufacturers campaign, and he is going to Mexico to present that brand there. So, of course, there's a reward connect if you continuously get into this technology, empathy, and innovation for sure. So we'll go for the next one. Now, this gentleman is with Ritz-Carlton, Bangalore. His name is Ruben Kataria. A seasoned general manager. He has worked with Oberoi's, he has worked with Leela, he has worked with Four Seasons. So the theory is, whenever you want a luxury property to be either set up or make it profitable, you send Ruben Kataria there. And Ruben has a hawk eye. So instead of using borrowed case studies or borrowed stories, I'm just using my personal stories. So this was during his stint with one of the Leela properties in Bangalore. So he was hosting a sundowner. So a sundowner is supposed to end by at the most 7:30, 8. And very silently, we gave a lot of hugs and shook hands. And both of us, my wife and I, we were about to move out. Ruben comes in and said no, which I didn't mention in my invite was, it'll be followed by a sit-down dinner. Please make yourself available for next 30 to 45 minutes. I want you to test something. Innovation. What he was doing is, he was creating a rooftop restaurant called Falak, which serves as authentic as old Delhi food there. So the dal, it's called the dal Falak. It's branded like that. It'll be cooked overnight. And what he did, his innovation was something very unique. Instead of getting into a ready manpower or a chef who's readily available, he picked up someone on request. This gentleman's name is Chef Farman Ali Qureshi. He used to serve the Leela Palace in Bangalore, and he had retired. He was 75 at that point of time. I'm talking about 2021 October. So he told Chef Farman, can you please build or create this falak for us? And Chef Farman was everywhere. He was running from corner to corner in the kitchen. He was serving the guests personally. And within the first 3 months, just look at the profitability using innovation. Falak was one of the topmost selling restaurant in that property. So this restaurant had, this hotel had 4 restaurants and 1 bar. So Quattro, the 24/7 coffee shop, used to do I'm talking about 2021. 1 crore rupees of revenue every month. And then Kim Falak. It also has an in-house wine brand, which is usually served with a food pairing when they serve their guests. So Ruben is a consistent performer when it comes to his 3 things. Number 1 is technology. His booking portal to everything is top-notch always. It's beautifully aligned with the principal companies. Of course, empathy. His team is always empowered to take a decision, and at every point of time I've seen at least there are 15 to 20 young leaders who have been mentored by Ruben are now doing as HODs or function heads in large hotels and other organizations. So that's Ruben for me if it comes to the TED framework. We'll move to the next one. So her name is Tissy. She's from Kenya. So she works with a very youngish brand called Rove in Dubai. She took care of my entire check-in when my credit card was not working. You know, I mean, like any other person, I kept my tap limit low, and she was courageous enough to tell another guest, so can you just speak to my friend? I'll help Mr. Ray. So after 4 trials and then a readjustment in my app, I could do the transaction. And every morning during my breakfast, she used to ask that, sir, if you were traveling at this 46-degree heat, please carry a bottle of water. So can't forget her in terms of empathy and also that innovation that please vet. Now already I'm dealing a guest. Once he is done, we'll get into the next guest. Next one. So this gentleman is the creator of an Uber luxury hotel brand, Mr. Kapil Chopra, the ex-president of Oberoi Hotels. So during my homestay venture in the mountains, I had shamelessly copied 4 of his innovations. Number 1 is anytime check-in and check-out. Number 2 is anytime breakfast. Number 3 is regional cuisine. And number 4 is a welcome cocktail. I didn't have a cocktail, but I had a local Himachali beer called Kati Patang. So we'll move to the next one. And this is my mentor since 1992 December. Mr. Navin Kriplani, he had recruited me as a marketing executive in a telecom company called Global Telesystems Limited. Today also, if I'm in Pune, he still has the same empathy, the same love for me. He treats me with a wonderful lunch in Pune Gymkhana Club. And after everything, we've done our lunch, we are through with our dessert, he'll walk me to my car, hold the door for me, give a hug, and cry a little every time. So that's what I wanted to share as a takeaway. I mean, my recommendation is empathy walks, innovation walks. Of course, mix it with good dosage of technology. It'll help you for the longer run. Thank you so much.